Well, happy first day of summer, everybody. We've all been waiting, I think, for the warm weather. Unfortunately, it's all come at scorching temperatures. Right now, it's about 100 degrees here in good old Wisconsin. But yeah, man, this was good. I wanted to do a little live stream. I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough time to do it for work and all of that, but was able to kind of get going at some things. So I appreciate everybody, as always, being in here, hanging out with the HOCK for an hour or so and just having a good old time. So first day of summer. Hopefully everybody's got a nice little pour. If you are, leave a comment below and let me know what it is you're kind of sipping on. We'll go through some little kind of some, I don't know, Mash and Journey stuff here in a minute, just with everything kind of going on and where we're at. But tonight's kind of just a laid back, grab your little pool cocktail, whatever it is you've got. We'll have a good time tonight. Kind of just a little, like I said, a little laid back, have some fun tonight, and that's about it. But let me go back and say hi to a few people that were in here. Top Dog was the first one in. He beat Kitty, so down goes Kitty. Down goes Kitty. Top Dog, like I said. Kelsey, my man, how are you doing, brother? What else we got? Debbie Pittman, good to see you. Roy, how are you? Timmy, good to see you. What's up, D? How's it going, Blind Squirrel? My man Brett, good to see you, brother. I think I already said hi to Timmy. Let's see what else we got. Oh, here come the Turksters. Here they come. The boss is in first. How's it going, Katie? There's the lurker. There's Ethan. How you doing, brother? Good to see you as always. What else we got here? Oh, man, I'll tell you, it is hotter than heck here today. It was about 100 degrees. Now, I know for a lot of people in the South, they're a lot more used to the high heat than we are. But we get pretty hot, too. So, hey, Chris, good to see you, brother. Always nice to see you. But, yeah, it is. It's. I think it reached about 100 in terms of just regular temperature today, and then got to about 105, 106, kind of with the heat index. So hotter than heck. And we don't have a pool or anything, but fortunately we've got kind of a nice backyard. It's got a lot of big trees, so we're in the shade. So that helps. As long as you can get out of the sun, that made a really, really big difference. So Stacy, good to see you. Cheers to you as well. There's my man, Todd Ritter. Good to see you, brother. Hocking in the USA. Yes, sir. Justin, how you doing, brother? What else we got here? Mr. Randall, good to see you as always. Russell's 10 in the glass. Love that. What do we got here for Stacy? Enjoying another pour of the gold spot. Okay, awesome. The Big Vic. How's it going, Victor? How's it going, brother? There's my man dealing with some hot temperatures down there. What's going on, Hendo? Did I miss DC before? C. Jackson, cheers, buddy. What else did I miss here? Let's see what else. Lance, my man, hey brother, how are you? Hopefully all is, I don't want to say well, I know that's not the case, but hopefully things are progressing in a very good way. My thoughts and prayers are obviously with you and your family. That's a very difficult thing to have to tackle. There's no doubt about that. So my thoughts are with you guys. I know you're going to deal with it as the best you possibly can. So anyway, all right. So yeah, tonight is fun. I've got kind of a few bottles that I've received over maybe the last week, well, maybe month to a week, something like that. And I wanted to kind of go through a few things, see if there's any of this stuff that interests you guys, if you have any opinions on that. One of them, we're probably going to be doing a little bit of a barrel pick through these guys. We'll get into that in a little bit. Have some fun with that as well. So that'll be fun. How's it going, Mace? Good to see you, brother. So yeah, that will be. Dwayne, good to see you, bud. How are you? A little WB Saffel, awesome, great pour. So yeah, I kind of busted out a few bottles that I figured would be something kind of fun to go through, talk a little bit about in the event that anyone doesn't know or has any questions, whatever that may be. So that'll be kind of fun. But first, got a little of our rare character. We just released this. I'll drop a link here in a few minutes. there's only not very many of them left. So we'll kind of get those, get a few of those things out to you guys. If there's anyone outside of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club that wants them, then we'll kind of let you guys kind of have a little run at them. There's not many left, so we're going to kind of clear those out. We've got some other stuff. Our Starlight's dropping on Friday, so all of you Mash and Journey people, we've got our Double Oak and our Sherry Finish Starlights coming on Friday, so we'll drop those coming here pretty soon. So looking forward to that as always. Again, shameless plug, if you're not part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, the link is pinned in the chat, so hit that, join whatever tier you want. That'll get you into the club, and we'll release in different tiers. So enough of that. And yeah, Lance, I'm glad to hear that's awesome. I mean, by that much, that's a significant amount. So you know, fingers crossed, all of that good stuff for you guys, and hopefully it continues to progress in that way. So I'll be thinking of you guys. Yeah, so we've got some really kind of fun barrel pick stuff coming up. A couple other little things. I'll kind of let you guys know. I've talked a little bit about this before, but we have kind of confirmed today that we will be doing a whiskey and kind of cigar kind of combo release with the guys at cigarclub.com. So we do have that coming. They're going to put together basically 3 blends that we're all going to go through and establish whatever it is that we like the most. And then we'll get the guys from cigarclub.com involved in our barrel pick. So we'll make it kind of a full collaboration from that standpoint. So you guys will all be getting a truly custom, cigar that we're going to put together. So, all right, enough with that. Let me see what else we got going on and try to catch back up as much as I can. So I do too much darn talking, that's for sure. So I suppose if I didn't, it'd be a bad live stream, I guess. DC, good to see you, brother, as always. Yeah, the rare character. So I'll drop that here in a minute in the chat. If there's anybody outside of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club that wants to be, whatever. If you guys want to kind of have a shot at this one, then there won't be many that we generally release to the public. But again, rare character, still kind of getting a little bit of a name out there, and I think as people kind of understand what it is that they have to offer, that will be something that more people are going to want. And this one that we chose, it really, again, I'm a little bit biased, of course, but it really turned out nicely. So, and I think there's one guy right here who probably could tell you a little bit more about the rare character as well. So, but it really turned out, it surpassed, I think, what it is that we than what we ever imagined. I mean, it really turned out well. So yeah, Kitty, whatever. I think you have a different message pin than you thought. Oh, did I have something else? Let me see. Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, apparently that's, let me unpin that. All right, hang on a second. Let me just go back to the beginning and see. Sorry, guys. Hopefully there we go. Okay, I think we're a little bit better now. So in the event anybody, thanks, Kitty. I appreciate that. I think I had his message pin. It probably was right below it, and the old fat finger got in the way. So anyway, let's see what else we got in here. Everybody's coming in hot and heavy here. There's my man, Cam. How's it going, brother? Good to always see you. David, good to see you. JG, of course, always good to see you. Ernie, always good to see you, Ernmeister. Thanks, bud. All right, so let's kind of get into things. So I got a little bit of the rare character. Let me do this. Let me drop that in here while I've got, I think. All right, there's the rare character link. So I don't know how many are left. There weren't many as of yesterday. I haven't checked since, so I don't know what's left. But let me know if there's anybody who wants that. There's a few left that we've opened up to the general public. We won't do it very often, but especially with this one, we got a lot of other things coming, so we want to get other things out to everybody. So, all right, 30 bottles left. So, all right, not many. So let's the goal tonight will be to get rid of 30 bottles. What do you say? Let's go get to buying. Okay, because then we've got our Starlights, like I said, coming on Friday. So, all right, I'm gonna go. So if you probably saw the thumbnail a little bit, I kind of took a few photos of a few things that we're going to try tonight. One thing I didn't realize until not long ago was I'll show you guys this. Let me get rid of the, I love that rare character. It's so good. For a 6-year bourbon, how rich that thing is beyond me, how they're doing that. It's similar from a standpoint of complexity as we had in our Nashville barrel bourbon. They're not really similar, but they're similar in terms of how good that 6-year bourbon can be. So, all right, yeah, and the old Hockster's coming too. That's the Old Forester. That one will go pretty quickly. So we had a really good group of people on that one real quick. Myself, Jason, Katie, Ethan Turk, Kelsey Dime, and I think Michael from Sunday Evening Scotch were the ones involved in that one. So really, really good one coming. So, and definitely coming off the news of Jackie Zeichen leaving. So yeah, I think you kind of remember it was fairly unanimous for the most part. So you'll have a shot at that. That's for sure, bud. Nerd alert. What's going on, brother? So here is, I didn't realize, so this is the Wheel Horse, not just any Wheel Horse. This is their new, and I didn't realize it was as small of a blend. Apparently it's only a 3-barrel blend, but this is their toasted barrel finish. And I sat down with it the other day to kind of start taking some notes to do a review of. And I kind of got to looking and thinking, well, maybe this is just a little bit of a tester to let them get out there and test the market on, I think it was maybe what they say, like 100 cases or 150 cases, something like that. And again, it's gonna be right in that $40-$45 range, 101 proof. And I've done this blind, not this one, but the regular Wheel Horse blind against Wild Turkey 101. And I'll tell you what, I mean, they're both great bourbons, especially for the price. But man, I really like what this Wheel Horse has to offer. And this is coming from, I think, Green River. Is that what it is? Yeah, the Owensboro. So that's the like Green River and all that, I believe. So yeah, that's at Owensboro Distilling Company out there. So yeah, they've got some really good stuff. So let's pour that one. I guess let me know, has anybody heard any of the has anyone heard about any of the Wheel Horse, the toasted? Did anyone try it? Have a chance to try this one yet? I'm always interested to hear if anyone's tried any of these. And I figured, with a couple of them that I've got, I know one's not. I know this one's been released. They call it their spring 2022 release. So I'm a little bit late, but I only got the bottle about a month ago. So I haven't had it that long, and I've had it open for a little bit. So let's see what we've got with this bad boy. So, but I think for what that is, I mean, I think at $40-$45. Oh, all right. Let's see. It does not appear to be public. Okay, let me get rid of that then. I'll figure it out. Maybe Jason, if you don't mind, Jason, do you think you can drop the link in the chat for the rare character, and then I'll pin that one when I see it come through. Just tag me if you don't mind, and I'll watch it come through. But yeah, I didn't know when I got it. So they sent this to me in full transparency. I had no idea when I saw it at first. I'm like, Wheel Horse. I'm like, why are they sending me these? I didn't know that it really mattered as to their batches for the most part. But this is a 4-year. I don't know what the mash bill is on this one. Age, again, age stated 4 years right on the bottle. Toasted barrel. And again, only 3 barrel, batch. So very, very small. So I'm thinking that maybe this is a little bit of a test for the market and then see kind of where that goes. But we'll find out. Man, it's just that creaminess that's there on it that you get from that toasted barrel. It's like I don't know, it's like it's not like it's almost like not a fully charred creme brulee. It's kind of more of the custardy part of that. But very nice spice. Not a lot of heat or anything, but very sweet, marshmallowy, like you kind of get with a lot of the toasted barrel stuff. All right, let's get into this one. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It's sweet. I'd say a little less spice than like a Wild Turkey 101. But again, the toasted barrel is going to sweeten this up, probably take away a little bit of the spice on that. Sweet. Again, really nice kind of like a marshmallowy kind of graham cracker type of note. Creamy. That's one thing I'll say with the mouthfeel on this is that it's noticeably mouth coating, which is nice. Actually, the spice kind of kicks in a little bit later on this one, which is still nice. But I mean, overall, kind of first impressions. And again, I had some notes that I took maybe a week or so ago after kind of really sitting down on it. But that real toasted influence is very, I guess, very much present in this. It's really gotten. All right, let me pin this one here. All right, hang on here. It'll pop. All right, there we go. Thanks, Chase. So yeah, I think when you can get these, especially a toasted barrel wheel horse, I really kind of dig what they were doing. I was pleasantly surprised when they released just their regular 101 that they did before. So, for $45, again, in today's day and age, 4-year bourbon, okay, not the oldest, but the toasted barrel, so you got some added expense to that. I think for what it is, I think it's definitely worthy. Actually, you might get even a little bit, kind of like a little bit of a mintiness, light kind of cigar tobacco. I could see this kind of being like a nice little pairing, like on a afternoon, if you had like either a nice Connecticut or maybe like a Dominican, something that wasn't overly powerful, that could kind of work off of each other. I think those would be kind of a nice light kind of smoke and sip kind of afternoon if that was something that was your thing. What I will say about it is that creaminess, you hate to always use the term smooth, but it's that. I think the toasted barrel has cut down a fair amount of the spice on that. Yep, I could see a little nub as well. That's a good, nice little quick one. But yeah, I think for $45, I'd give that a buy. There's nothing that's off-putting about it. It's probably a better quality 4-year bourbon, I would say. Really nice, kind of those typical bourbon profiles, but I think overall a pretty solid bourbon. So I'm kind of going in proof order a little bit. So we'll get that one out of the way. Here's one, and I know there was an original batch that came out not that long ago, but this is batch 2. Again, this is the WH McBrayer. What they're doing is they're basically sourcing from Wilderness Trail. So they're, I think, having their own custom mash bill done, but being obviously produced by Wilderness Trail. And it's very different and unique. So I'll pour it up here and we can kind of go through this. But there were a couple things that I remember when I was tasting through it the other day, just to kind of get a little idea of what it was. But I remember this. Let's put that there. So there you go. There's a little WH McBrayer, and that's batch 2. This one's coming in at 100 proof. I don't know what the mash bill is, what they're using. When I was talking to Bill McBrayer, who I'll probably have on the channel come sometime early part of July, I'll let him kind of tell a little bit more of the story behind the brand and all that. Kind of fascinating when you get to listen to the lineage and the family history and all of that. So that was pretty cool, just kind of talking to him. So yeah, there's something that's very like creamy. And the one thing I got was this like creamy cashew kind of note. Nice, like kind of light or medium butterscotch on it. Nice spice, some good baking spices coming off of. Again, 100 proof. It says on there barrel strength. So I don't know if this is, actually, I think in talking to Bill, if I think back correctly, I believe they go in at really low entry proof. I want to say like 103. So if this came out, or maybe it just happened to hit at 100 proof, I suppose it could be barrel proof. And I think even technically speaking, barrel proof can have some water, a percentage of water added to, and still be considered barrel proof. So I guess somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. So in the event that this came out at 100 proof, barrel strength, and it's nice. It's got that sweet, like almost like weedy profile. And actually thinking about this, a good question is, I don't know if this is a wheated bourbon. There's something that's very soft and floral, that creamy cashew kind of note. So it's very different, has a different nose to it. But the one thing that kind of resonates with me is this creamy cashew note. Maybe even like a slight herbal characteristic. Again, I don't know what the age is on this. So non-chill filtered, so that's nice to see. It says small batch, so they're batching. And again, I don't know how big or how many barrels are in the batch. I would have to imagine fairly small, but yeah, this one's not so Halden. This one actually says barrel strength. So I understand the foolproof part in terms of that, but this one actually says barrel strength. So again, it was kind of interesting. So I don't know what that part will be. Yeah, I think that's the case as well, or I thought that, but I believe even to be considered barrel strength or barrel proof, I think there's still a small amount of water that can be added. I don't know if it has to be at a particular point or whatever that may be, but I thought I heard that. So, all right, let's give this one a try and see. And I think the MSRP on this is right around $100, but batch 1, I didn't have a bottle of. I had tried it. I think Ritter gave me a pour of it, and I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting. It's very, very different. So, yeah, that creamy cashew, nice kind of like medium or light butterscotch. It's very velvety. It's very creamy. I think a lot of that has to do with the distillation process on that. It, again, also being a low barrel entry proof. So you don't have all of that necessarily, that harshness that it's got to kind of fight through with that. So that's one thing that's nice with a low barrel entry proof. So there's the man. Well, how's it going, Bourbon? Good to see you, brother. Hopefully all your travels went really well. Looked like you were having a good old time. All right, what do you got here, Todrick? It's a 4 or 5 year old bourbon, mash bill 88 cents, 88%, bloody butcher corn, 6% rye, 6% malted barley. All right, interesting. So there's something there that's really allowing or causing that to be velvety, buttery. Speaking of buttery, you do get a little bit of this. Maybe I'll even say kind of like a buttered popcorn, but there's like a nice caramel note, cashews, creamy cashew mouth coating. I love the mouth feel of it. The mouth feel is fantastic. Nice spice, good baking spices. Um, a little bit muted, but again, that there's a little bit of a slight nuttiness that's there to it. So what do you got here? So this one is, I think, after batching, they had about 13. Yeah, I think you're right. So not a huge batch by any means, but that's probably fairly typical of a smaller brand like this. But I think, what I would say for this being $100 bottle, I really kind of dig it. I like the fact that it's a little bit different, unique. It offers something a little bit different than I think what a lot of us are typically kind of used to. So I would say that's worthy of kind of picking up. I like just the overall difference factor that it has. It's enjoyable. It's an easy sipper at 100 proof. Drinks really well. Again, love the mouth feel. Mouth coats the mouth really well with those oils. So low barrel entry proof, which again is something that's fantastic. So okay, so here are a couple of, and again, I don't know how familiar you guys are with this brand. I've kind of come across them maybe about a month or so ago and started kind of looking into it a little bit more. Got a sample from someone, really enjoyed the sample, kind of reached out to them and tried to get a couple things going. Well, lo and behold, what do we got here? So these guys right here, this is going to be a little bit out of proof, I guess, order. We'll finish up with one that I think is kind of really interesting. But this, I'm really quickly becoming a huge fan of this brand right here. So Barrel King, they're actually out of Bourbon, Missouri. So they are doing all of their sourcing again right now through MGP. But in talking with them, one of the really unique and kind of fun things about it is they are being able to kind of cherry pick the barrels. So when you are able to go in and do that and not just get an allotment sent to you in a huge truck, that makes a huge difference. So if you've got somebody on the front end who is able to really select some good barrels, you should be getting the best of whatever these are. So this one's coming in. So this is just a little over, it says on the bottle, as you can see. Let's go here. Just aged over 6 years. It is a straight bourbon whiskey. This one's coming in at 120.8 proof. And again, out of this says 70 of 72. So I don't know if this is just a short barrel or just it can't be a small batch. I mean, 72 bottles wouldn't be. But anyway, it says 70 of 72. It says batch 14. So I'm going to have to clarify how that part is going. But I don't know how you would have only 72 bottles in a batch. That seems awfully small. Maybe somebody can let me know if I'm missing something. But anyway, I got some different some bottles from them. Again, they sent them to me for me to kind of do a review of, which I was happy to do, and something I was excited to kind of do. And coming off of the sample that I had, I was again really excited. So when I got these, opened them up right away, let them kind of open up, kind of get into it a little bit, and needless to say, I was kind of blown away in a very good way. You could tell there was again some of that difference factor. And again, I think it's falling into line of the rare character that we did, the Nashville barrel that we did, is finding something that's a little bit slightly different, maybe richer, more complex, kind of MGPs. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, there are an awful lot of MGP bourbons and ryes out there these days. But the one thing I've quickly realized is that not all MGP is alike. And what I mean is, even when you've got the same mash bill, same ages, all of that, if you've got some of the quote unquote special or unique barrels, you can really find yourself some really fantastic whiskeys. So, all right, so let's see what we've got. This one I remember the other day being very chocolatey, lots of like espresso notes, things along those lines, but still, again, a very, very, oh man, that like rich, dark, heavy fruits, nice chocolate notes, great spice. Oh man. Nice, like kind of buttercream or like a vanilla wafer, something very nice. But anyway, that's the barrel. That's the Barrel King. Again, 120.8 proof. Man, that's a delicious, delicious bourbon right there. I would say, if you guys can. Oh man, Ethan. So that's a hard one. Leave it up to you to ask that question. Choosing that, they're different. They're just very they're a little bit different. I mean, I still like how this is a little bit more, I guess I'll say, more standard of a bourbon profile, but the richness that it has to it. And again, at just over 6 years old, I mean, great color. Like you can see, like that's a 6 year bourbon that has a fantastic, fantastic color to it. 120.8 proof. I'll tell you what, it doesn't drink necessarily like that. But Ethan, I guess to answer your question, they're both just different. They both have their own qualities that I really appreciated. That Nashville barrel was very different and unique of a profile. This is, I'll say, a little bit more standard. However, that richness that it has to it is the one kind of defining thing that this is more those chocolate, again, like a little bit of like a vanilla wafer that's there. Nice baking spices. Man, coffee, espresso. All right, I'm going to say something that's a little bit, this might shock you guys a little bit, but that last sip that I just had there, in all honesty, there was something that reminded me a little bit of a George T. Stagg. I don't know what it is. Again, I know they're different mash bills and all of that, but there was something about that richness that was there to this, that espresso, the concentrate that it has to it is just, it's just fantastic. I mean, it's just a great bourbon. I mean, if I was tasting this blind, there isn't a chance in that I would guess that this is just over 6 years old. I'll tell you what, this is one worth kind of seeking out. And I guess to kind of let the cat out of the bag, here are some samples that they've sent Jason and I that we're going to be able to fortunately have an opportunity to do a barrel pick with these guys. We chose the bourbon. I'll get into the rye here in a minute, which again was also absolutely incredible. But man, I'll tell you what these guys have going on in the barrels they're selecting so far is pretty darn impressive. Yeah, there's just something about it when you taste like that bourbon that's got that profile to it. I'll say maybe not to go as far as George T. Stagg. When you get into the Stagg Juniors and all of that, maybe a little lesser proof. I'm not admittedly a huge Stagg Junior fan, only because I don't really appreciate necessarily the super high or hot or high proof bourbons like that. I just think it allows you or makes you focus too much on the burn or the heat factor that you lose a lot of the flavors. And for me, in that 120-ish range, give or take, it's still it's like that's a really good proof for me. So I like when bourbons, and I'll say even ryes, kind of hit in that range. Man, that's Jason, I hope the barrels they sent us are a little bit like this one, because that's a badass bottle of whiskey right there, I'll tell you. So it's nope, spice and inbred. Nope, not man enough to handle the it's not even that. It's not a matter of not being able to handle it. I just don't like when so much of the hotness part of it kind of takes over. It's just not my thing. I struggle with that part of it. I want there to be more of the richness and all of that's there. And at that proof, I can really kind of focus in and hone on what it is that I want. But I'll tell you what, those heavy fruits, chocolate, espresso, vanilla wafer, maybe even a slight bit of like a little bit of a root beer note, but very rich, very complex. And again, I know that's kind of my wheelhouse. So when I taste that, I know for me that's a really, really nice bourbon. And I think it translates over to a lot of people as well, in terms of what it is that a lot of people kind of look for, in a bourbon. So I'll tell you what, that Bourbon King, their straight bourbon, again, this is, I guess they're going to all be a little bit different, but if we can find something that's like that, we're in good shape. So, man, that's really good. So, all right, let's move on to, we'll go to another Barrel King, and then we'll kind of finish up with one that I think you guys will really, really, truly appreciate. So one I think that's going to ultimately be fairly accessible to being able to get. It was a little bit kind of slow for people to kind of catch on to what it was they were doing. I was fortunately maybe the first person to do a review of them, but I knew when I tried a couple of them kind of that they were getting some really nice barrels as well, but we'll get into that in a minute. So here's the second one. I've got other ones. They've done some kind of crazy finishes and stuff, but these I'll say are more of their quote unquote flagship type of things. So here's the Barrel King. This is their straight rye whiskey. This guy is coming in at 105.5 proof, which for MGP ryes at barrel strength is pretty typical, I would say. You don't see a lot of ryes from MGP that are much higher than that necessarily. So if you do, it may fluctuate 5 or so, kind of proof points, but that's a pretty kind of typical barrel proof rye thing for that. So, oh yeah, Jace, wait till you get into those. So we'll have to set aside some time to kind of go through some of those. We've got some big samples, so we'll have to decide if we want to get some other people involved, but we can kind of go through that. But yeah, that espresso, though, you'll love that. I'm telling you right now, when you kind of get into the samples, I hope to God we get something that was similar to that one. So, all right. So like I said, this is going to be their straight rye whiskey. Again, 105.5 proof. Again, it says bottle 1 of 38. So I don't know how they're doing the bottling. This is batch 2. So I don't know. We'll see kind of how that is. But this was one, I'll tell you what, I was really digging when I tried it the other day. It was one of those ones that was super kind of rich for a rye. Damn, that's good. That like minty, it's like kind of like almost like a mint chocolate chip on this one. Man, that's damn good too. There's that candied aspect to it. I should let me figure out some words here. So yeah, that mint chocolate chip. There's just something that was really nice about this one as well. Yeah, the font is pretty cool. I think they kind of have done a good job with the kind of silver on black, kind of a black matte. So the silver part of it really stands out nicely. Yeah, but it's very candied. There's a nice candy aspect to it. But again, you've got that mint chocolate chip. Nice rye spice, not overly heavy on the rye spice. Again, I don't know what the mash bill is. I'm assuming this is probably still a 95.5. I believe they are non-chill filtering these as well. Yeah, Kitty, I don't know what that is. I don't know if I mean, it says bottle 1 of 38. So, I mean, if I saw that, I would think that was a super, super short barrel, like single barrel. So, yes, asbestos. Yes, exactly. New word of the day, asbestos. Oh, man, I'll tell you. It's like I just had like a freaking aneurysm or something there for a second. That's what happens when the whiskey kicks in a little bit. See, and one of the guys before was asking, I can't handle the high proof stuff. Shit, I can barely handle this stuff. All right. Oh man, that is so good. Man, I am loving what these guys at Barrel King are doing. I'll tell you that. Whatever the price is on these, and I don't even know, whatever it is, it's worth paying. I'll tell you that, because that is some damn good whiskey right there. This one says aged over 5 years, 105.5 proof. It says batch number 2. So, but I mean, look at the colors on some of these. I mean, that's a really nice color on a 5-year whiskey. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's really, really nice. And it's not, again, not overly spicy, not overly oaky. Nice baking spice though. But again, you've got that mint chocolate chip, that kind of sweet oak that's there. There's that richness that's kind of coming out again. Man, I'll tell you what, it drinks much more, honestly, like some of the older 8-9-year-old kind of ryes do. There's just something about what these guys are getting or what they have that is really, I mean, I think this is going to be another one of those brands that, unfortunately, when people start to figure out what this is, it'll probably take off pretty good. So I'm glad that either I've got some of these now and or we're kind of getting in on the front end of doing a barrel pick, and maybe we've got a really nice selection of these coming. But I mean, for these in that 100-ish, maybe $100+ range, I'd have no problem even for these ages. Only because with the flavor profiles of these, they're drinking much older, a lot like the NBC pick that we did not drink like a 6-year. If you would have told me that pick was a 10-year bourbon, I'd have believed you. If you were going to tell me these are in that 8-10-year-old bourbon, 8-9-year-old rye, I'd believe you 100%. It's a really, man, that's really good. Both of these are fantastic whiskeys. All right, let me have a little bit more of this one, catch up on the chat and see what. So in the chat, I guess you guys let me know, have you ever heard of these guys, Barrel King, before? Again, out of Bourbon, Missouri. So yeah, exactly. If I had that voice of like the movie trailer guy, that'd be even better, Justin. But I'll tell you what, I mean, I try not to like get like overly ravey about a particular whiskey, but I'll tell you what, when you just taste something that is a really good whiskey, you want other people to know that. I mean, I don't care if they, people buy them and do all that other stuff. I mean, I've got nothing in the, I've got no horse in this race. I mean, this is just me tasting these whiskeys with you guys now, and it's a fantastic, they're both fantastic bourbons. and rye. So I'll have to go check that out and see, because yeah, he does. He's very, he lets his opinion know. So that's for sure. So if he liked it, that's probably a good thing. So, but I'll have to go and check that out. So, Nicholas, what do you think of the Old Carter's new bourbon release? So if you're talking about the ones that are the Dickel, I'll say this, they're good. Are they as good as some of their other batches? If we're being honest, I would say no. I think when you're paying that kind of price for, George Dickel, that's where kind of the questioning part comes in. Now, some of their older, Dickels that, they're 15, 16, 17-year-old, they're all good, but those are much less expensive. So, at that price point, that $200, 200 plus price point for that, I don't know. I guess I'd probably try to find something else. And I'm a huge Old Carter fan. I love everything that Mark and Sherry Carter, generally do. Doesn't mean I have to like every batch that they do. But yeah, if I was going to spend my money wisely, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go for that. And we've tried it when we were there. We were with them. And again, don't get me wrong, they were good, just not for me that good. So. What do we have here? Debbie, I don't know if you're talking about batch 9 of a rye of the Barrel King, or if you're talking about the Old Carter. Not sure there. So Mr. Smartass, I figured that. That's probably, I'm sure a lot of other people have said Burger King before when they're probably referencing this. So all right, Kelsey, what do you got? Yes, I have heard of them. Austin, yeah, okay. I'll have to go and check out his review of that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty okay. The Barrel King, and I'm assuming you're probably talking about rye. Sorry, there you go. I'll tell you what, and I guess your thoughts on that. I'm assuming you're a fan of it and maybe kind of getting some of what it is that I'm kind of describing. That's the thing that's always nice to have a little bit of that support or like reassurance that what I'm tasting, that other people are getting something, similar to that. So, and I try to stay like within kind of my comfort zone, like within a wheelhouse. Jason knows this. I mean, he leans a little bit more towards trying to get outside the box at times, and I'm a little bit more, kind of in my lane. I know what I like. For me, I know what's good. So there's certain things that I look for. So I think the complement of those two things when he and I are doing barrels is it allows us to get at times, like with the NBC, to get something that still has all that richness, complexity, while still having a slight twist or a different kind of profile. So the combination of those two things kind of met like in the NBC pick. So that and the rye were absolutely killer whiskeys. So yes, it's a good box. I try to stay like in the good box there, Hendo. All right, what do we got here, Keith? No such thing as spending your money wisely with bourbon. That's true. That is true. So it's all a consumable. That's for sure. We're just renters at the end of the day. That's for sure. So, but yeah, I'll tell you what, if you guys after the stream or whatever, at some point, whenever the near future, go check them out. See what they're like. I know they've got a couple of different things. I think they even have like a membership, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know yet. But I know I'm looking forward to sitting down and doing a little bit of the tasting through the samples that they sent us to see if we can find a good bourbon for you guys. We elected the bourbon just because, again, it's a brand that a lot of people don't know. Bourbons are typically a little bit easier, more desirable, I guess I'll say. So we kind of stuck with the bourbon, but that doesn't mean that we can't shift at some point to a rye down the down the line if it's something that we want to. But Mark, what do you got here? Did you pick up mint chocolate on both rye and bourbon? I wouldn't say mint. I wouldn't say necessarily mint on the bourbon, but definitely chocolate espresso, those kind of heavy, rich notes like that you look for in kind of more of an aged bourbon. Not overly oaked either. Nice oak, nice spice, a little bit more, again, kind of traditional, but just kind of amped up in the richness. So I think it's a very, very good bourbon and very good rye for what it is. So cheers, Dougie. Good to see you, brother. What else we got here? Durrell, we might have another one that we found for you, the old Barrel King bourbon, maybe even the rye. I know you're more of a bourbon guy than rye, but I think we might have found another one for you, buddy. So sorry. So all right, let me go back to this. But yeah, the rye, really nice kind of mint chocolate chip. Again, that nice vanilla wafer. Nice spice to it, minty. Again, mint chocolate chip. Oh man, fantastic. Nice, even kind of like a cigar or more of a pipe tobacco, I would say. Man, maybe even a little bit of kind of like an orange sickle. There's that kind of combination of the vanilla and orange, like that little orange sickle kind of ice cream treat we used to have when we were kids, combined with the mint chocolate chip. Shit, that's good. That's really good rye right there. It'd be interesting to kind of see how that would pair. It's a little on the sweeter spot, a little bit on the sweeter side, not a lot of spice, not a lot of heat. There's not a lot of that. It's very crushable, but I don't think you'd want a super overpowering cigar. I think the cigar would just kind of overshadow this in terms of that. But on its own, fantastic rye whiskey. So how's it going, Robert? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, this is the 4.75 of the rare character. So when you're special like that, you get the huge amped up bottles. I mean, look at the size of that thing. Ethan, you ever seen anything that big before? Look at the size of that. That's a big boy right there. Okay, so man, it's really hard to get away from that. Let me do this. I want because I can, I'm going to have another little quick sip of the bourbon. Coming off of the rye, I want to see what this is kind of tasting like. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of subtle. I mean, the black and gold matte finish on there, nice kind of gold lettering. I think it's kind of cool from that standpoint. But so there we have it. There's the Barrel King 120 proof bourbon. Oh man, that chocolate espresso bean, vanilla wafer, nice sweet oak. It just smells so much older, so much richer than like what it is. I mean, for the age that this thing says it is, aged over 6 years. And I mean, if it's at or around 6 years, it's a fantastic bourbon for that age. It's a fantastic bourbon if it was in the 8 to 10 year range. I would say that. So, man, we gotta find a bottle of that for the club. That's for sure. If we can get something remotely that close, we'll kind of that'd be a pretty awesome thing. So what do we got here? I mean, I think if you're in that art of the sauce, I mean, I think if you're kind of looking for those kind of things, I mean, maybe the 1792 like small batch would probably be something kind of similar. I suppose any of those kind of 90 to 95 proof bourbons, would probably be okay for the most part. So, yeah, you can see there's probably, again, that kind of tried and true, Jeff, of of this bourbon, that those are definitely there, those kind of vanillas and caramels. But what I love about it is just that rich, chocolate espresso, again, more of like a kind of like that vanilla wafer aspect to it. Nice sweet oak, nice spice. The spice on this one, I think, comes a little bit later. Man, it's a really, really nice bourbon. That's one that would be dangerously easy to sip on. So I'll work on doing a review of that. I mean, I think it's only fair to get these guys, get their name out there even more, because if that's what they're going to be producing, a lot of people really need to find out a little bit more about that. So, all right, Keith, what do you got here? Found Barrel King under Old Road Craft Spirits. Yep, if anyone is looking. So, yeah, you're right. So the Barrel King, I think, is, do they even have a website on here? Yeah, so on here it just says barrelking.com. So, but yeah, produced by Old Road Craft Spirits out of Bourbon, Missouri. I mean, how can it be bad? I mean, they're in Bourbon, Missouri, for crying out loud. So, but yeah, check them out. And if anyone finds anything out about them or tries it, hit me up. Let me know your thoughts on that. Always interested to kind of hear what what people are thinking about some of these bourbons and stuff that we're doing. So, what we got? Sweet up front, it's in a spice. Yeah, I can see that. So for me, this bourbon specifically has that real nice kind of richness, that older whiskey kind of profile to it, all in a good way. And the older, I mean, as it gets kind of richer, more complex, mouth coating, creamy, all of that. Absolutely love that profile in a bourbon. So, and I'm a fan of MGP. I think a lot of those MGPs, and especially when you can find the sneaky good ones, especially nowadays, it's even better. I mean, those are super rare for the most part. So, you've been to the Barrel King distillery. I know they've got something there, so that's kind of interesting. I have seen like a little bit of some just photos and all that. So it looks like they kind of have a modified, like kind of little tasting room, I think. But yeah, I think they're trying to get all of that stuff built up a little bit more. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd like to see these newer brands doing some kind of, fun things like that. So, but the good part is that they're offering up some really fantastic whiskey. So, Hobbs and Shaw. All right, robotic. I don't know what that means. So maybe I missed something before, but oh yeah, no, Ross and Squibb. Right, yeah, Ross and Squibb, I think it is, or something like that. Ross and Squibb, MGP, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's what it is. Ross and Squibb. Dobbs and Squids. All right, you guys are getting closer. We're getting closer, but I think it's Ross. I think it's Ross and Squibb, I believe. So no, it's not definitely not Tango and Cash or Turner and Hooch. That's fine. So now that's you guys sound like I feel. So when the whiskey kicks in, that Ross and Squibb is now Turner and Hooch. That's funny. So Timmy, I don't know. What do you think? Can you think? What do you think of that? Am I on the fence, or you think I'm digging the Barrel King? So, yeah, I'm. Needless to say, I'm digging it. That's for sure. Simon and Garfunkel, that's a good one. Maybe if we get some stickers and stuff, we can start to make some fun ones coming off of the Ross and Squibb stuff. Jason's the master with all the stickers and stuff like that, or maybe even getting DC involved on something is. Nah, HOCK and Cannoli, we've kind of already done that before, but I think a good play off of the Ross and Squib thing that you guys are kind of mentioning would be a lot of fun. So, all right, so we're an hour in and we are down to the last one. Let me have some. Let me have a little bit of water here. That'd probably be a good idea. Slobs and dibs, Aiden. Jesus. Simon and Garfunkel would be kind of a funny one to have literally Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel on the back of that one. That'd be kind of a funny one. Put the old HOCK and Cannoli's face on there or something. Yeah, we probably won't do a HOCK and Cannoli one, but to have like have Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel on the back of a sticker with like our faces or something. Actually, needless to say, I don't need any more damn stickers with my face on them. Most of them are already embarrassing. There's another one coming with our darn Old Forester pick that we're doing, which was, again, Jason's idea. I keep telling him, why doesn't he put his face on some of these stickers? Why is mine always got to be on them? So anyway, I think he named the Old Forester one like the old Hawkster or something like that. So, but whatever. Jason in a turtleneck. That'd be a sight for sore eyes, wouldn't it? Put him in a turtleneck. That'd be good. Okay, so one more sip, and then this was one I was kind of I knew something was coming. I just didn't know what it was, and I was pleasantly surprised. So, all right. So here's the last one for the evening, and then we'll call it a night. So you probably already kind of recognize the bottle. That's the back of it, of course. They got a pretty recognizable bottle. But take a look at what they're going to be releasing here pretty soon. Can you guys see that at all? I don't know if you can read that. So anyway, hopefully you can read that. So this is what Lucky 7 is calling the Frenchman. So this is their, obviously, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Aiden, I'll get to that in a second. This is their Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And again, if I was guessing, I think some or most of this is probably still coming from Barton. Don't quote me on that, but that'd be my guess. But this is called the Frenchman. So it's a really nice bourbon finished in French oak casks. So when I saw this, I love what French oak does to a whiskey. So I'm hoping, I already tried it, several times. So I kind of already know, but let's give this one a little bit. I'm really looking forward to doing this. This review will probably be coming pretty soon because I want to get this out hopefully before they actually do the launch, which I think is coming up before too much longer. But yeah, really, really excited for that. So Aiden, I'll get back to it in a second if I don't, remind me. So what we have here again, so it's non-age stated. My guess is they're probably using decently aged bourbon here and then finishing it again for an undisclosed amount of time in a French oak cask. So really love that profile. Oh man, the toasted marshmallow is so present on this. The other thing I got like immediately was this French toast aspect to it. There's that, what you get from the French toast with the maple syrup and cinnamon. It translated when I was going through the tasting and nosing the other night. It translated very well from the nose to the palate. So that was nice. But again, it was like just that really, really nice French toast aspect to it. Great spice, nice sweetness. Again, that creme brulee. It's buttery. Oh man, it's so hard to get past like that initial like nosing part of it. So oh yeah. It is so, this is one now. And again, like I was talking before about the Barrel King, the richness that's there. It's very rich, very mouth coating, very creamy. Sits on the palate really well. But to translate from the nose to the palate of that French toast, cinnamon, slight maple. It's not heavy, heavy maple, but that's there. Great sweet oak. That's there on this one. nice spice. Man, it's just a great bourbon right there. And I don't know when they're actually going to be releasing this. It's got to be fairly soon, so kind of keep an eye out for that. So I'm hoping to get this review done hopefully this week, and then maybe posted early part of next week or over the weekend. So keep an eye out on that. And like Justin says, I mean, it is. I mean, that is you can kind of, well, you can't really see there, but I mean, it's got to have some decent age to it. There's nothing off-putting about it at all. I think the French oak for this really complemented the bourbon fantastically. The combination of both of these, again, you get that French toast, but still that nice kind of like maybe even like a milk chocolate that's there to it. I'll say lighter espresso, maybe not as bold as the Barrel King, but very much there as well. Sweet. You have to like a sweeter bourbon, I think, to enjoy this. And again, this may be one that would pair really well with a cigar too, maybe with something with a little kind of light pepper kind of note. I think would be a kind of a nice combo. But fantastic bourbon. I would say when this one comes out, if you guys can find it, I'd go buy it. You know what? They're price wise on these, let's see. You know what? I didn't see an MSRP on that, Kitty, so I'd have to check. But I'll tell you what, for the most part, their pricing, I'll say for what it is they put out, is incredible. I mean, when they just released not long ago and even last year, that 14-year, the price that they're selling it for is a steal. Like, I don't know how they're even selling 14-year-old bourbon for the price they are. I want to say it was like $150 or something like that. Just a crazy price for a great 14-year-old bourbon. So anyway, there you have it. That's the newest that has not been released yet. The Frenchman, it's called, and this is their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in French oak. So fantastic. So, all right. So I saw somebody just pinned it before. So Todd and Andy, 21090, they are doing some good things over there on their channel right now. So I'll not step on their toes anymore and kind of get in there and check things out. So, or you guys get over there and check things out. So it'll, they're doing some pretty awesome things. Two good dudes doing some really good stuff. So hopefully you guys, hopefully you had a good time tonight. So a little summer kickoff with a few new bottles that I've kind of come across. Hopefully maybe shed a little light on a couple things, piqued your interest. That's the main thing. So there you have it. Head on over to check out Todd and Andy 21090. The link is in here before. Again, really quickly, Friday, Mash and Journey, we are releasing both of our Starlights, our double oaked and the sherry finished bourbon, both only roughly 100 bottles of each. So not much. We kind of split a barrel with some others on those to kind of have a full barrel on all of that. So we've got both of those coming. Good prices on those as well, which is nice, and really, two good bourbons. Following that will be the following week. We're going to be doing our red line, the honey cask finished bourbon. Again, I think it turned out incredible, and I love honey, and I love a honey finished bourbon. I don't love a honey infused bourbon necessarily. I just want a little bit of that honey to accent the bourbon. So there you have it, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate everything. Next week, I don't know what I've got going on. I'm trying to get a couple of other things lined up with a few people that kind of come on, talk a little bit about the brands and all of that. So always digging up things. So we're trying to bring some good stuff. Same thing with the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Again, if you're not part of it, check the link in the description or pinned in here, and some good stuff. We're having a really good time with everything. So, all right, guys, head over to 21090, check out Todd and Andy. And until then, we'll see you guys next week. Remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers, guys. Happy summer 2022. See ya.